Hey, Joanna, how are you?
I'm good. I was just singing your praises, Nicole.
Oh my goodness, I just missed it. Can I just stop for a second and sing
Yes.
yours? I just have to, like, for all my followers who are tuning in, like, this is an absolute privilege for me. Like, Joanna Lopez is everything that you, and I know we're going to get into this later on, but Joanna Lopez is everything that you need to get into on a Woman Crush Wednesday. She is female empowerment. She is, you know, the good for all women and what women really need, not only just in life, but particularly in this sort of COVID-19 pandemic. She's doing everything she can to secure the woman's place in both the corporate sphere and in life. And I'm just such a fan. I'm so thrilled to be here. Really, I am.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely love you. Thank you for that. And thank you for understanding what it is that I'm trying to do, because
Yes.
you know, it really is about us women, and it really is about empowering one another and getting rid of the mean girls and like really creating like this bond and tribe. And when, you know, I heard that I could interview your beautiful self, I was just so buzzing, because I know that so many women are going to be able to learn so much about you. I mean, not only are you an incredible actress, and you know, you've starred in movies, so you understand the discipline that it takes in order to become an actress and to be successful and consistent in it. But you are also a female boxing champion.
Yeah, I guess so.
And that in itself is mind-blowing, because the nutrition, the training, the mindset, the power that you have to have within yourself, with you know, strategicness, and it's just incredible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass over the invisible mic to you for you to introduce us, tell us who you are and tell us what you do.
I'm Nicole Bessick. I'm from South Africa. I guess you could say that I play imaginary people for a living and knock out real people for fun. I'm an actress by trade, legal scholar by study, and amateur boxer by choice, I guess. So that's my story. I'm all about smashing stereotypes and breaking that glass ceiling. And I guess that in a nutshell is me and my story.
Let's start with your hobby, which obviously was a sport that you fell in love with. How did it get to the stage where you were going to become a champion?
That, to me, when people ask me this question, they always go, so actors and actresses have their faces and their bodies always intact. Boxers get kicks off messing all of that up. But for me, the two were actually quite intertwined. The fighting and the combat sport grew or developed in response to having to do my own stunts. Because I got into this space in my life, Joe, where it was, you know, you look a certain way, and that this is not like a demographic thing or stereotyping. It's just like, this is the rules of the industry. You look a particular way, you're a curvy girl. What we are writing for right now is for girls who look like you to be able to fight, drive fast cars, and shoot guns. Funnily enough, that's the three things that I really like the most, and I do that as hobbies in any case. So I married the two, and I started taking my boxing more intense. I started really ramping that up, sort of, and using that to do my own stunts, because I do my own stunts and my roles are very action-related, and I got really good at it. And then one day my coach just said to me, Nicole, you need to fight. I said, no, never. My nose, like my lashes, whatever, my nails, whatever. And he says to me, no, you're damn good, do it. Joe, I'm the type to try anything once. So I did it once, fell in love, won my first fight, 16 fights deep, and I haven't lost since. So that's my story. But the fighting was never, ever something I wanted to go into. I was an actress, and it happened to come in by chance. And so did the driving the fast cars, so did the guns. I never started in that. I was always acting first.
There's something really sexy about a woman driving fast cars, fighting with guns.
Maybe I need to move to the UK, because in South Africa that intimidates men. So maybe you're onto something. I've got to move up then.
It's the same way. It's the same thing all over the world. You know, I am my age and I'm still not married with children. And you know what? I love it.
So at your age, when I turn, so your age, so let's talk about being your age and being 27. Tell me about that.
Okay, add another 10 years.
No, really?
you know, if you're a strong woman and if you do particularly strong hobbies, male dominating industries, which are supposed to be just for male, then, you know, it can come across as quite intimidating. And especially in this world that we're living in, where, you know, women can break barriers. You know, it's not like it was like back in the day, like 100, 200 years ago. Things really have moved forward. What I want to discuss with you is like, you know, with boxing, you know, when you get into that ring, you know, there's got to be this fire in your belly, and there's got to be this aggression that you're just going to be like, right now, I know you may be the most wonderful person, but I'm going to have to smack you.
Yes, there is. And let me tell you that, look, the fight can be hectic. The preparation for the fight, a lot like life. I don't want to get too philosophical about it. Getting ready for a fight, especially as a female getting ready for a fight, is a lot like what a woman goes through on the everyday basis. So when I get prepared for a fight, I've got the naysayers. I've got the, you're a woman, what the F are you doing in this scenario? I've got the, you can't possibly be as, I've got all of that chat. When I'm getting ready for it, and when I get into that ring, it's like a release. I like to feel, or I feel as though I'm smashing all kinds of glass ceilings that are put in front of us, what women ought to be doing, and why do you not have, you know, a kitchen robe, like why are you not in the kitchen kind of thing. I love smashing that. That is my happy place. That's the happy part. The part that I struggle with the most, and like you say, it's when you've actually got to step toe to toe with somebody and actually smash the, you know what, out of them. It's the So it's the 12 weeks before your fight. It's when you're in your camp. It's when you're going from, I've got to drop, and I do this all the time, I've got to drop 15 kilograms. I don't know what you guys use up in the UK. We use kilograms here. I don't know if you guys use pounds over there.
kg,
So I've got to lose 15 kg in a month. That is the part where I step in, and that's the tough part. So the ring, a lot of people think the ring is the tough part. It's not that. It's actually forcing your body every day to wake up and smash it. And that's why I say me preparing for a fight is a lot like women preparing for every damn day. So I don't, you know, for me, it's not a big thing to be a female who fights. That's what women go through every day, waking up and having to go through the motions, having to be disciplined, having to go through the fact that you're a woman. How dare you do this? And that's the tough part. So for me, smashing the faces in the ring on fight night's not the tough part. I really struggle with the time before and what we go through as women, you know, in that period before.
That formula right there, what you have just said, is actually the formula to win anything in life. You see, people think that all of a sudden, once you have the successful business, once you've had the fight, that it's just because, oh, you know, she's just talented, you know, she's just good, she's just lucky, you know. Everyone's always got an excuse, but what they don't actually see is the behind the scenes, which is the tears, the sweat, the fight in your mind that, can I do this? Am I good enough? Am I strong enough? Am I confident enough? The anxieties that we have to deal with, not even just as women, but as human beings, because, you know, mental health is something that, you know, it's such a massive thing in the world. Like, we have a program here in the UK called Love Island, and the thing is, it's like, you know, a couple of the, you know, the people that were on there committed suicide, and even the presenter. And it just goes to show, what I'm trying to say is that you don't really know what someone is going through, whether they win, whether they're not winning. Because look at the presenter, you would have thought that she was winning, right? She's in the limelight. And look,
and I think this is something for me that I read one day that stuck with me for the longest time. The quote says, don't compare yourself to the internet. Nobody is posting their failures. You know, so I think for women especially, we need to really divulge into that, is that we're comparing our worst days to somebody's curated best day, and that's really not fair.
What you're saying, I think it's such a good release for you with boxing as an exercise.
But let's just talk about fitness and even box fit for a second. I think for me as a woman especially, it's important to keep that fitness in your vicinity, because even fight training, like just hitting a bag at the gym, just go for it. I think women should go for it. A lot of fighters don't agree with me. They're like, that's not really fighting. I say go for it. I say, if that helps a woman walk with her chin up just because she feels like she's hit something for the first time in her life, even if it's a bag, if she's hit something, she can walk a little bit taller with a chin up, and that makes the biggest difference in life, not only in the boardroom and you know, in the corporate sphere of life and in work, but also out there on the street, because the streets aren't always the safest place to be. So if a woman's spending 40 minutes a day, even 30 minutes, if that's all she has, just lifting those weights or punching that bag and feeling like she's, got that oomph in her, that she can walk like standing tall all day, no man is gonna mess with her. And she's never going to allow that, because she feels so empowered. So I think it's important for every woman, no matter what you do, if it's fighting, if it's lifting weights, if it's yoga. I hate yoga. I can't touch my toes. I'm scared of it. I'd rather get punched in the face. Honestly, it's terrible. I find it terrible. But if that's your vibe, I think, yes, Joe, you made a great point. I think women should invest that 30 minutes in a day, just becoming the Wonder Woman that they are on the inside. Very good point.
Don't you think that because when you achieve it, it must be so rewarding, because if you can be so disciplined yourself, then anything that comes into your life, you know how to give it structure.
Let's call it like a diagram or a structure, whatever you want to call it. I actually take that fight prep from my daily struggles and doings as a woman first and foremost, because that's what I am first and foremost, as a woman, and particularly a woman of color. I think if you have a structure to anything, that's a plan, and a plan can never fail if it's followed through. You know what I mean? So for me, yes, in terms of fighting, it's waking up I wake up at an ungodly time, 4:30 in the morning. I eat 9 or 10 meals a day. My meals are on an alarm clock. My meals are prepared. I prepare them. It's a whole mess. But it's the fact that I know if I do X, Y, I get Z. Fighting aside, I know that, for instance, in the acting world, I know that X, Y equals Z. So if I've got the audition, I do the preparation, Z will come. I suppose that works in the corporate sphere as well. If I apply my mind, I work hard, I get the qualifications, I get the experience, Z will come, the job will come, that kind of thing. So yes, to your point, that discipline and that drive that I prepare for a fight is only what I take from being a woman and being a woman of color for all these years, I guess. So yes, it's a copy-paste mechanism. Guys, it can apply to all of you, for all of you who are tuning in, it applies to everyone.
So,
I guess, yeah.
So talk to me, let's go now into, because you have these two beautiful worlds, obviously the boxing world and the acting world, because you're also a name in the acting world. Like you've been in movies, and I want you to tell me, how did you even get into it?
Oh goodness, I got my big break at the age of 3 in my preschool play. You know, my mom likes to joke that I came out performing from the womb. It was always in me, and not. And let's just get this straight. I don't know what the industry. I mean, I do know what the industry is like in the UK. I've been there. I've performed there. It's great. It's very different in South Africa. In South Africa, fame and art are two very different things. The two sort of do not coexist. Just because you're on television doesn't mean you're famous, and vice versa, kind of a thing. My love, Joe, was always for telling stories and bringing to screen what happens in the real world, if that makes any sense. And that's how I got started. And I actually, funnily enough, got started in sport. I was a professional figure skater for about 10 years of my life. I represented
talented woman. Okay, yes.
Thank you. I started when I was 3. I started on ice. I was representing my country by the age of 8 or 9 internationally.
You're incredible, right?
Thank you very much. And I retired by the age of 13 because I was just like, there's only so many championships you can win. Junior Olympics, all of those things, did that. But I found my love for performing and telling a story when I was young. And then told mom and dad, listen, I love sport, I love figure skating, but more so than the athleticism of it, I love telling a story, bringing life to this piece of art. I don't know, I just love it. They said, cool. So do you see yourself, pursuing a career in entertainment? And I said, hell yes. And they said, cool, you can do whatever you want. I play 3 instruments. Something, people don't know this about me. I play 3 instruments. I've got, it's in the UK actually. I qualified through the UK. So Trinity Guildhall, ISTD. I qualified through the UK in my modern dance, tap, ballet. And I was like a kid.
Oh, I love tap.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. So my parents said, you can go to a theater school after hours, provided that your marks do not drop. And at that time, you know, being of color in South Africa, your parents give you two options. You can be a lawyer or a doctor, full stop, nothing else. If you're smart and you're clever and you're brown, that's the only two options. So they said, you keep your marks up and you can do whatever you want. So I did, stayed top of my class, did everything, graduated top of my class. And all the while I went to theater school 3 times a week, 4 hours a day each time. And then on a Saturday, full day, doing tap, modern, just living my passion. That's how I got into the industry. Did my first movie at the age of 14 that went to the Cannes, Berlin.
Were you scouted?
Yeah, I was. I went to an audition and just, they were like, who are you? Where have you been? I guess.
Was that a movie?
Yes, it was. It's called Cold Harbor, and it went to the Berlin, Los Angeles, and Cannes film festivals in that year. Way back when, 2011, I think.
2013, right?
2013. You're right. We shot it in 2011. Oh, yes, it went. Yes, that's right. So at this point, I've gotten all the movies. I've got the series. Time to work. Naturally, people would have thought I would have gone into the industry just straight away. I decided to go to law school. Graduated, did a semester through Harvard Law, ended up doing my specialization in intellectual property. But again, like I said at the beginning, I wanted to bring this back to my country, back to telling stories, back to telling South African stories. So I did my major, or my thesis at university, on the state of intellectual property in the South African media space. That's what I wrote it on. And I kept driving everything through back to acting. I know that, you know, going to varsity or going to college or university was very important, so I did that. But my first love was always acting. And after I graduated, I told my folks, right, here's the certificate. Graduated like right up there. I'm moving across the country and I'm going to go pursue my dream. They were like, okay, well, today is Tuesday. When are you moving? What month? And I said, no, I'm moving on Thursday. I've booked my ticket. I'm out of there. Wow. And I moved across the country, booked my first gig just under a month later, and I've been loving life ever since. And living my dream every day.
Are you still acting?
Every day. I'm on a really big show here. Yes.
Okay, so this is going to bring my question, which I'm sure is on everyone's lips.
Sure.
That is, how do you manage everything?
Time management, it's very key. I don't know what your philosophy on goal acquisition is. Everybody's different. But for me, I think that when you have a plan and you just stick to it every day, even when the days are hard, you'll get there. And unfortunately, that takes some serious time management. Yes, I'm up at 4:35 every morning. Yes, I'm getting to bed only at 10, 11 at night. But I'm really, really happy every single second. And I think when you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, as cliche as that is. So
when you find your gift.
Totally. And for you, that's empowering women each and every day. For me, that's like, I don't know how you do it. I want to ask you a million questions, because that to me is wild, you know. And I think how I achieve what I do is because I do what I love. And I think when women ask me that every day, Nicole, I want to be this, or I want to be that, or I want to be famous. And I go, fine, but do you love what you do? Because if you don't, this journey is going to be hell for you. It's going to be terrible. I have really bad days in the entertainment industry. It's a very fickle kind of industry. No matter where you go in the world, I find a blessing in every single day, though, because I love what I do. So for me, to answer your question, I think time management is key. I'm up at 4:30 every morning. Obviously, with COVID, it's a bit different. But usually I'm up at 4:30 to train. First session is 5:30, 6. Second session for the day starts at 7:30, ends at 8:30. 9 o'clock, 9:30, I'm in a makeup chair on set. I wrap at 6. I'm at the gym fighting at 7. I'm back home at 8:30, 9, cooking for the next day. I'm in bed by 10, praying by 10:15, sleeping by 10:30, and up and at 'em for the next day. That's my day.
And what about love?
Who? I think true love exists where two souls meet effortlessly. And I don't believe I found the man who effortlessly does that with my life. I'm not going to compromise. I don't expect him to compromise on his life. That's a no-go. I don't think, yes, relationship is about compromise, but compromise for love, not compromise for who you are and what makes you you. So for me, love is, I mean, I hope to have that one day. I know other women look at women like us and we go, you guys have it all. You have successful careers. You're empowering. And we go, all I really want is somebody to cuddle up with at night. But for me, love is not a priority at this point in my life.
You know, if you were to, for example, say you found love, you know, I genuinely believe that a relationship takes a lot of energy and work also. And I think one of the reasons why I've been so successful in what it is that I do is because I haven't allowed that type of thing to take place, because I know what I'm like when I do love, and it's like you've got to give that so much energy, and it's like, but I need to do this, and it's very difficult to find the balance, and I admire women that really can do it.
I've heard a saying once, I don't know if it's the same for you, but it says that how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I think for me in a relationship, I'm exactly the same as you. We're together, we're doing everything. Oh my God, you need this, I can do that, I can provide for here, I'm the same. I'm the same. Don't even sweat it. I'm the same. I'm going to come to the UK soon after COVID. We're going to have so many drinks, so many laughs. I'm the exact same. I'm coming. Like, I'm there all the time. I'm coming to visit you next time.
Come now. Come now.
I can't. Our country doesn't allow it. I can't even like leave my front door right now. It's hectic here. We can't. I don't know if anybody smokes who's watching, but in our country you can't buy cigarettes. They've banned it. 2 weeks ago, only 2 weeks ago, or 3, I stand under correction. 2 weeks ago, alcohol became available. It was banned since March. Which let me just be very. Let me just have an opinion for a change.
Okay.
I think the government got it the wrong way around. They legalized alcohol, illegalized cigarettes. Switch it. There are so many women who are dying in their homes because their husbands are taking a drink and beating them to death because you've legalized alcohol in the home where women cannot leave to get out of the house because of COVID. So they're stuck in the home where they're getting beat every single day. They don't know how to defend themselves, and you've made alcohol legal so that guy's just doing it every day. Legalized smoking. I don't understand. The country has done it because of tax bans and all of these things in the world. But yes, I see in the comment section, yes, still. We still don't have cigarettes. I don't smoke personally, but I can imagine the smokers out there are losing their mind.
Like dying, yeah. I mean, every country are doing really bizarre things, which is so upside down, and no one can really understand what's going on. Apparently, we're heading towards another second lockdown. I mean, I really hope.
Here too. We remember, you guys are in the northern hemisphere. We're down here. We haven't hit winter yet. Winter hits now in the next month. So we haven't had all of our, like the flu, the surge of the flu that happens in the winter and the coldness of winter. We haven't had that yet. So.
But the thing is that we've had a really good summer considering, it's the UK and it's always raining. We've actually had some really beautiful days. So, but I'm worried about going into the winter, and I think the second lockdown is going to happen in the next couple of months for sure.
No, we're here now. July's happening here, and we're going in, and people are dropping left, right, and center. It's mad here. And the government released a statement on Tuesday. If South Africa, if you tune into this, you've seen it. They are seriously contemplating putting us back to what we call stage 5. So stage 5 is the most stringent. Stage 1 is the least. Stage 5 means schools close, malls close, banks are open for 2 hours a day, grocery stores are open for a few hours a day, public transport is banned, interprovincial travel is banned, and we're going back there just because we haven't hit winter yet. We're trying as best we can to wear the masks, do the sanitizers, but it's just wild. Honestly, it's just wild. And I don't know if you have been experiencing this being a woman in business, but I think what COVID is doing is further, this is very controversial, but further parting the gap between men and women in the workplace. Because when we find ourselves in lockdown, and let's say we're married to a man, and we've both got a 9 to 5, and we've both got kids at home. Whose responsibility is it to cook, to clean, to make sure the kids are okay to do homework? The woman in the household. So what happens to our work that needs to happen from 9 to 5? It falls wayside. And I think COVID is presenting a very interesting dynamic for women in business. And it's heartbreaking on one hand to see it's setting us back in years. I've been looking at trends. I'm very business minded. I see on the comment section people are commenting that our schools are open in South Africa. That is true, but only
Same
for
with here, not all the grades though.
Yeah, no. So I don't know what it's like there, but for us, it's everyone who's supposed to go to university, so matric or grade 12,
Yeah.
and then everyone who's meant to go to high school. So grade 7 and 12, everybody who's supposed to transition so that the workforce or the task force of the country as a whole is not affected years down the line. Everybody needs to move to the next level. And those are the only people who are back.
I believe that COVID-19 exists, but I believe that there's an elite and we are being controlled and shit doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Basically, like,
yeah.
Well, I don't understand, right, how for me it doesn't make sense that, and for me frequency doesn't lie, because we're all energy, you know, lies are energy.
Oh my God, yes.
Energy. And
yes,
it's like, you know, when you have a conversation with someone and at the end of the conversation you're like, I'm not too sure whether I believed all that.
Yes,
it's the same type of thing with what we're watching, you know, like watching the way that certain people have acted. Like at the beginning, people were going crazy, buying loo roll and tissues and stocking up on vegetable like we were going into war. What I've done over, you know, the past few months, I had done Self-Made Girl Boss a couple of years ago, and all I did was just, you know, post memes. And then I realized that through all of this, women were starting to panic and feel vulnerable, and they weren't having support or a crutch, right? And right. I knew that this domestic violence was going on, and I knew they were getting bullied, and I knew they felt worthless, and I knew that they were being utilized like dogs in certain cases, right? And so for me, it was important to be able to build a platform that gave security and trust to these women, that, you know, they could have their guilty pleasure, even if it's for half an hour or 1 hour. So I literally just started reaching out to all these women, just send me your story. And people were like, but I haven't really done anything, you know, I don't really have a story to tell. And I was like, yes, you do. Everyone has a story to tell. We are all special. We are all amazing. And your story, even if you don't think it's going to touch 100 people, it doesn't matter. Even if it's just that one person that will be able to escape, have a read about what you're talking about, is amazing. So it turned 1 woman, 2 women, 3 women, 10 women, 20 women. I was getting bombarded by stories. And then some of these stories were so incredible that I was like, I have to interview you, because this is not enough. Just to publish your story isn't enough. I need to give you the platform for you to be able to speak. And these women were speaking, and they were speaking about rape. They were speaking about being, you know, they were burnt victims. I had women speaking about all sorts of things that you can possibly imagine, right? And these women were coming off these interviews and sending me messages saying to me, I have never felt so amazing. Thank you for giving me that platform, and just half an hour to just talk about me. And I was just like, I'm in love with, first of all, I love humans, like I love people. But then I started falling in love with these women. And then when I started seeing them become empowered, all of a sudden, so many women started like making their own Instagrams, making their own businesses, joining my master classes. They were taking it now to another level. So they started to become busy during lockdown as well, because someone had given them that pump, that energy to say, yes, you can. Of course you can. Why can't you? Right. You know, what's the difference between me and you? We've got eyes, we've got legs, we've got ears, we've got the same thing, all right? All it is here. So if we can train our brains and really help our mindset and understand that with courage, tenacity, with strength, with consistency, with belief, you know, that you can conquer anything you want, but have integrity. know your boundaries, know your limits, you know when you're going to turn around and say no, and I'm not going to take that, and I'm not going to accept that. And
Absolutely.
you fill your core with strength, because that's the beauty about being a powerful woman.
Yes.
And that's basically what happened.
Goodness. So basically she changed the world, and that's just basically what happened. Basically. I love that. Like the way you just like brush it off. I don't even know. Like you're Wonder Woman. People call me Wonder Woman, but I think I found Wonder Woman.
No, you are definitely one. Actually, I wanted to ask you, who have been your mentors?
I don't like to touch on this topic just because it's a very deep one. I think for me, mentors, I've not had any. I've had to be my own along the way. My parents are both, I love them to death, but I'm the first in the entire family to pursue a career in entertainment. My parents are both in IT. They're both business heads. You know, there wasn't any sort of lifeline. You know, if I decided to pursue this entertainment career, it was do it and do it on your own and do it well, because we love you, but we just don't understand. We don't have a craft for that. So when it comes to entertainment mentors in my family, while I have great support, I don't have, any mentors in the entertainment industry. When it comes to being a strong woman, I think my two mentors, or two people I look up to, are two freedom fighters. I'm very forward thinking in my political and sort of just what I think is right. And that for me is Michelle Obama and South African legend Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who was Mandela's wife when he broke apartheid, and ultimately the brains behind the operation. What a lot of people don't know about this woman is that she was tortured for years on end to give up what Mandela's secrets were, where he was and what he was all about, and what his plans were for South Africa going forward. And she wouldn't let up. She wouldn't let up. She was the backbone of that family, or that unit. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. And that's something I look up to, is that not only are you a boss in the corporate sphere, but she was a boss in the home. And I think that's something I aspire to, because I think as women, it's our general inkling to one day, have that and be a wife and be a mom. I know for me that is maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next day, but eventually I'd like that too. And she got that right. Michelle Obama got it right too. She's a boss on her own, but when she's paired with someone, she makes it just that much more dynamic. And I think that brings us back to your question at the beginning, which I kind of sidelined, which is Nicole, what about love? And I think I did fall in love not too long ago. It was a long-lasting relationship. I guess it didn't work out. He cheated. I'll just leave it at that. But a beautiful relationship nonetheless. A great human being. What people are and what they do sometimes aren't the same thing.
Love is a complex. Us people are all trying to find our path. No one's getting out alive. We are all trying to make sense of it, and we all do it in our own way. And then when you bring two people together, they are literally two worlds that rotate sometimes in the right way together, and they combine well, and they've got things in common. But you know what? It doesn't always work. And if a man cheats on you, it's not your fault. And this is what I want women to understand, because a lot of women
got nothing to do with you.
Turn around, right, and then start feeling like they need him even more. They start then forgetting who they are, start compromising their beauty, and start begging. You don't beg a man, okay? Your mum didn't give birth to you for you to beg anyone. If someone doesn't want to be with you, then yes, it's upsetting, and yes, it's hard.
Oh, but they're lost.
I understand that breaking habits sometimes is more painful than actually the love. It's habits. Habits can be painful, right? So, but guess what? Go away. There's 8 billion people in the world. 80% of the world is water. There's enough water for you, me, my mum, everyone in this world 100 times over. Move on. If he taught you a lesson, thank you for showing me that I know how I can love. Thank you for showing me beautiful feelings that, do you know what, made me feel so good. And do you know what? Thank you for also showing me that not everyone is who they say they are.
Why that is so difficult, and I do so many of these women empowerment, call it that, seminars, and yes, of course, mine are geared more to fighting, and people want to know how to defend themselves in terms of violence in the home and all those things. And I say it starts way before that, because those are boundaries that you put up. When somebody does something that annoys you or doesn't say, or hurts you on a deeper level the first time, and you don't establish a boundary, that's when you get there. Like all that abuse and emotional, physical, it's the same thing. I don't care if he's never lifted his hands to you. If he's emotionally abusing you, it's the same thing. I'm putting him there in that category.
Yes.
The interesting thing I found about love is that it's the only emotion that can coexist with any other emotion. So you can love somebody and be happy with them. You can love somebody and be angry with them. You can love somebody and be sad. It's got the ability to coexist with anything else. And I think that's when women get themselves into a position of, I love him, but he hurts me, but I can make this work. Bullshit. I think women keep putting themselves on the sword because love can exist with any other emotion, and women take it upon themselves. I feel like as women, we believe that the amount of love I have for somebody is directly related to how much shit that they put out there that I can put up with. How much I love you is how much nonsense of yours I can deal with, if that makes any sense. So I relate how much I love you to the fact that you've come home when you said you were going to be home at 7, you got here at 8. I love you so I can see through that. You know, you're a man, I can love you through that. Like nonsense, ladies. Like, love is not correlated to how much you can endure from a man. And I think that's the first line of defense. That's when women come and hit us up with these subsidiary questions almost of, I can change him, I can love it out of him. Because number one, we were here and you ignored it. We were here. And he showed you he's coming late. He shows you that he's chatting to other girls. He's shown you that he doesn't care. And he showed you who he is. And you didn't believe it. Not for 1 second. So, and I don't ever want to say that this is your fault or this is your that, or we're human. This is a part of our journey. That's why our souls were brought down onto earth. But that's why your soul was brought here, is to feel these things and do this thing, and to do this thing called love and learn the lessons through that. But to women out there who are asking that question, I would say that just because you made a mistake for a long period of time doesn't mean you need to hold on to it. You don't hold on to a mistake just because you made it for a certain amount of time. It's going to hurt you more. Let go of it. Live your life. Yes, you made a mistake for 6 months that you were dating him, a year that you were dating him, 10 years. Some women find themselves. Don't hold onto a mistake just because you made it for a long time. Let go. Live your life. You've only got one to live. It's my 2 cents.
That is so true. Can we just go to this question?
Yes, let's do it.
Perfect.
But what if your girlfriend cheats on you? Is it a must to forgive her and forget and move on with life? Guys, if anybody cheats on you, move on. You know what? If somebody, it goes back to my point earlier. It goes back to my point. Love can coexist with a lot of emotions. The one emotion it can't exist with is respect. I can't love you and disrespect you. That just doesn't jam for me. Somebody can cheat on you and love you. This is the god awful truth. Somebody can love you and cheat on you, but they can't cheat on you and respect you. I would rather be with a man every day of my life for the next forever if he respected me and didn't love me than if he loved me and didn't respect me. So if a woman or a man, this is just my opinion, if a woman or a man cheats on you, what I'm telling you full on is that, number one, they don't respect you. Number two, they are willing to see you embarrassed. I throw that question back to you, who is the one who's been cheated on. Are you willing to live with that? Somebody who doesn't respect you and is willing to embarrass you. The question is ultimately in your court. It's not about a question of cheating. It's embarrassment, distrust. Can you live with that? And if you can't, which 99.999% of the world cannot, move on.
I think once you break the vase, it's just never going to look the same again, is it? That vase breaks, and even if you try and glue it back, it's still going to be.
Do you think there's a difference between emotional cheating and physical cheating, Jo?
No, I think they're exactly the same. I actually think that sometimes emotional cheating is by far worse because it's passive. It's passive aggression that you can't seem to. There are so many sociopaths and narcissist people in this world, right? That to the world, they seem like the most amazing, kindest souls. But really behind their scenes, they are manipulating a particular woman or a particular man, and they're playing their thoughts against them. And it's science where they say that it creates certain emotions inside of your body where you feel pain. You literally feel pain because you're getting gaslighted, because what you're saying doesn't exist. Like, they're trying to make you mad, right? So for me, it's like, obviously no one wants to be beaten. No one wants to have, you know, they're all bad. You know, I think
Totally.
also, I think it goes into the box of just abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, any type of abuse. It goes in there, and it's wrong. It's just that different people do it in different ways, and it doesn't make it right. One isn't less better than the other one. It's all wrong, right? And people need to understand that. But you know what? Like, just moving away from that for a second, are there any like books that you can recommend, or a specific book that you've loved? I know that,
like, fun fact, my parents refused to buy me books. When I turned about 10, they refused to buy me books because I kept reading through them in like a day or two, like books like these. I just like smash in a day or two. So they made me sign up for the library. That was fun. I just smashed the library too. So my depends on what your taste is. Number one, and I think everybody, I don't care what your religious belief is, I need you to read The Seat of the Soul.
Oh, wow.
It's just basically it's a look at why we're all here, and not in a philosophical way. It gives you real world examples of why you're here, like little bits of examples as to what brought you here, what your purpose is. It's not going to tell you what it is, but it's definitely going to get you thinking.
Okay.
One, if you're into manifesting and you want to learn how to do that, there's this book that I've been reading. It's called Ask and It Is Given.
Oh, yes, that is my type of book.
And in what I like about this book is it gives you, each chapter is you want money, they'll help you manifest money. You want a new home, they'll help you manifest a new home. You want a new career, it's done. And it shows you exactly how to do that step by step. So this is my current read. I can say it because it's the end.
Who's it by?
Abraham Hicks. Abraham and Jerry Hicks.
Oh my gosh, Abraham Hicks. I love Abraham Hicks.
Yes, yes. This is everything that they've ever written in a book that's like step by step. Step by step. Literally, and I'm talking about they teach you where in your wallet to put your credit card and how that manifests all on its own just by virtue of you putting it in a particular place. Just between girls and I guess the entire world. I used this book and manifested my dream role and also my new home that I'm looking at buying. Just with this new book. So, and it gives you the power to do that. So those are my two favorite ones. I'll give you like two more. If you're not into the soul thing and you're just a real badass, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is a real great book.
I mean, it's just there in the title, isn't it?
There we go. So it's basically it's what you and I believe in. It's just in a real world example. So how mindfulness and how being mindful to different topics give them power, and where to just apply your energy. But it's more real world. Like if you are a person who just does not ascribe to manifesting and reincarnation, this is your book. This is your book. If you believe that you're just here on a random reason and this is why, this is for you.